staring at the sky. I stare at the same sky that someone else is staring at. I stare at the same moon that a long lost friend is also staring at the same time. It's not very far across a road, but the length of it stretches on, a ribbon covering the land, eating up the heat of the sun. Heat shimmers, mirages, a distant black car in watery light, resolving into something on tires. See it first, hear it second. You can smell it as it goes by, or if it stops and it takes you somewhere, driven by a friendly stranger, taking you to a new locale. Post-war America, a new way of looking at things. Looking for a spliff to share a stranger with. Kerouac in The Subterraneans talks about bop, how some jazz musician he hit a wrong note and it sent the music off into a different direction. That's bop. November 1979, I was 15, talking on the phone with my friend Brian about, I can't remember what, except there was one part of the conversation where I spontaneously made up the name Jason Salt, some New York filmmaker of an independent variety who had been making films throughout the 70s at a hectic rate. I made up names of movies: The Roots of China, 5 Star 5, The Quadium Factor, Low Budget, and I just went on and on about this. I had no idea at the time that this would turn into some kind of imaginary obsession, which was a prelude to writing up elaborate ideas about films. You know, that Salt had made the films, and so I was able to put my own ideas about cinema into this concept. When I began making my own films, I found that my rate of making movies was pretty much the same or even more intense than that of Jason Salt. So in a sense, I became Jason Salt.
Cuddle up a little closer.
That's bop. It's that direction, that randomized chaos point that just inserts itself. Kind of like when people say, hey, where do you get your ideas? They say that to every creative person. And the answer truly is, I get them from my mind.
Oh, Rosie, like to make you comfy, cozy.
Tell me about when you met Jason Salt.
I met Jason Salt through a friend of a friend. He was going to be making a movie. He needed a good-looking woman to play the lead part. I went to see him. Everything went great. It was really easy to get the part. He wanted me to wear a mask the whole time. Upon wrapping, when I watched the movie at the very end, there's a question mark for who played my character. No name, not even my face. That was our first movie. The mask that I was wearing had red bulbs where my... It had red bulbs where my eyes were.
Yeah.
And they kept burning me during filming.
Yeah.
That was problematic for me.
I always found Jack Kerouac's writing hard to process. I found his long sentences and to be almost kind of mushy and hard to follow. Later on, I realized that there was a kind of a jazz music quality to his work, and that if you were patient, you could get into the thread. You just grab up the thread and follow it, and you see where he goes and how he brings back little recapitulations, so that his writing is like music. He called himself Jack. His birth name was Jacques, but he called himself Jack because he wanted to emulate Jack London. Both of them traveled a great deal. Both of them had lots of odd jobs. Both of them went to sea. Both of them were born on the 12th of the month of their respective months. Both of them died in their 40s. Both of them sought adventure and experience through life itself.
So that was a benefit, of doing all those films with him. And then also a benefit was, of course, the travel. It was fantastic. Got to go to, Morocco, like we said, Italy.
Algeria.
Yeah, Algeria. So, I would have been stuck in a theater somewhere. I met Jason, gave me the name, Wendy Negative. My life took on a completely different trajectory.
Yeah.
Than what I had planned, but that happened so many times,
Yeah. Off to the left, as opposed to off to the right, where you might have met somebody else.
Like Yogi Berra says, you come to a fork in the road, you take it.
Existent realm called fiction, which Kerouac and London and so many other people laboring in the department of manipulating dreams work in. Kerouac grabbed on to the 20th century drug lifestyle. It said he wrote On the Road in a Benzedrine-fueled 3-week spree. A couple of things that Edie Sedgwick says in the great movie Chow Manhattan. She said drugs are like peaches and strawberries to her. And another Sedgwick line, I blossomed into a healthy young drug addict. I think the same thing could be said of Kerouac. That push towards wanting to open up experience like it was some kind of pumpkin. What's inside this thing?
So the last film that we did was The Face of the Nun. 9 movies previous, I was the leading lady. And in this movie, the name of my character, Tori Buns. A bimbo. She was a bimbo. I was insulted. So, and maybe that was his way of just letting me know that, there was somebody else that he wanted to, use for a leading lady. He was going in a different direction. Anyway, that was the last time we worked together. Reese's Piece?
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yummy.
Well, of course, he started a cultural revolution of unprecedented worldwide extent.
Yet he didn't acknowledge it.
Well, he didn't acknowledge it, but he was one of the people instrumental in starting it.
Well, in what sense?
Well, the whole beat movement,
Well, in what?
which has become a worldwide cultural revolution of absolutely unprecedented. There's never been anything like it before. Penetrating the Arab countries, which was really a hermetic society. And then their affiliation with the political activists, all that went on in the 60s. Although the Beats were originally non-political, others who were political were really following the Beat movement to its logical conclusion.
But Kerouac didn't seem to have any sense of that or desire for it or acceptance of it.
Well, no, he didn't. He was completely apolitical. I don't think he ever took part in a demonstration or signed a petition. But he started it. As Jesus Christ said, by their fruits ye shall know them, not by their disclaimers.
What's inside this thing? Like an automobile engine. What makes an airplane fly, mommy? What makes a garbage can sit so patiently waiting for crap to be thrown into it before it's emptied again? What makes the planets revolve around the sun? Why is Venus going in the opposite direction from all of the other planets in our solar system? A phrase in a story, a few notes in a jazz piece. The artists gamble that people of all walks of life will understand if they pay attention, understand the aliveness of what writers, real artists, Jack Kerouac, Jack London, were doing. In life, we converge on each other. Move on, move on.
Cuddle up a little closer, baby. Love in mine. Cuddle up and be my lady.